Welcome everyone to the live stream. This is the first time that I've did a live stream on YouTube on this channel. I've done it with some workers. I shouldn't say co-workers. Some business associates. That's probably more accurate. With some co-workers, and so I've done this before. I've done it quite a bit, but now this is the first time I've done it with my own channel. I've set up my my YouTube channel. Oh, it must have been probably 6 months ago, but I hadn't done anything with it. Added a few videos up there, but we're going to start using this channel now to do live streams. And this particular live stream, it's called Casual Friday, and you'll see I'm kind of dressed kind of casual. And it's for more of a relaxed Q&A. We're going to do interviews. We're going to do all sorts of stuff on this channel. And we're also going to do webinars as well, but webinars will be done in a little bit different format. They will be a little bit more structured. This is a little bit more casual, as the title says, Casual Friday. And but today we've got a topic. We want to go through, I was going to do a webinar, and then I thought, I'm going to combine this webinar with my Casual Friday, and we'll just kind of make it a relaxed, enjoyable. Hold on here. It's December, isn't it? December. Well, we better let's throw in some Christmas lights here. Just to, I think I put on my Christmas lights before actually December on my house here, but let's have a little bit of Christmas lights here, make it a little bit festive as we start the December. So with this channel, if you've not sat in on a live stream on YouTube, you do have to log in. Up in the top right hand corner, if it says sign in, you'll want to sign in, and if you don't have an account, set up an account. And once you've signed in, then you can use the comments and the Q&A, that sort of stuff. And you'll see that there is a comments area on I think it's the right hand side, and you can have questions as you're going through. And please go ahead and ask some questions. They'll pop up on my screen here, and then we can answer them as we're going through. So this is a little bit more relaxed than a typical webinar where I'll go through and then at the last I'll do a Q&A. So if you've got questions as we're going through, by all means throw them in there. And before we start, can somebody just let me know that you can hear me and see me okay? Let's just make sure that we've got a connection and people are actually able to see. Oh, there we are. Thank you so much. And we have the ability to actually pop your questions up if you wish. And so, like here's one with Jerry here. Let's see here. There we go. Oh, let's just make this a little bit bigger. There we go. I like your little what do you call it? Your avatar there, Jerry, looks good. All right. And Fred's on there. And, well, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. At least you can hear me and everything's all good to go. All right. So a little bit of, again, you've got areas for comments. Obviously, some people have figured that out, and they're putting stuff in. This is great. Thank you, guys. And by all means, comment. After this is all done, this is being recorded, and so once it's all completed and done, you'll be able to come back to the site. You'll be able to go and watch it again if you wish, or have other people, come on. If you have coworkers that missed it and weren't able to attend, they can just come to the channel and watch it anytime they want. Let's see. Anything else before we dive in? Oh, I just wanted to mention, I am planning on, I've got some people lined up for some interviews. So we're on this live stream. I'm going to be shooting for doing this every Friday. So it'll be a Friday thing that I just do. December will be a little iffy because I got a lot of stuff going on in December. But we will be doing one next week and probably the week after. But when we get closer to the Christmas time there, we probably won't do one. But I'll send out an email for those who wish. Now, So if you want to get notified when we're going to go live and stuff like that, you'll want to go down and subscribe and click the notification. And what that will do is notify you when we're going to go live. And that just kind of helps you out and helps the stream out. And the idea here is to help you guys. That's really what it's all about. To have a Q&A session. One of the sessions will be just a Q&A. Ask me anything about ACT, anything you want. And that's one of the ones that'll be coming up, and it'll just be more of a casual thing where you can ask questions. And then I'll have the screen up so I can show you different things if you wish. We can get into conversation, talk about business, right? And because we're all in business, we're all trying to do the best we can, especially under these circumstances. And so, this will be kind of a fun format, and we'll see how it goes. All right, let's dive in. Let's get over to the, let's see, where are we here? Just want to make sure I'm on the right screen. All right. So here we are in ACT. So we want to set up Christmas lists, or this can be for any kind of list. If you're from Calgary, having a Stampede list for Stampede time. And for those of you who don't know about the Calgary Stampede, it's a pretty big deal here in Western Canada. And so a lot of my clients here in Alberta will have a list for Stampede time. Or different things like that. So groups, we're going to talk about groups, and then we're going to go in and say, well, how do we market to these groups? How do we send out stuff? And so we're going to specifically focus on Christmas. So over on the left-hand side, we're going to click on our Groups tab here. All right. And so I've got a bunch of different groups in this demo database. And so we're going to go down here. You'll see now let's just take one step back. I'm using the advisor template that we developed. And the only reason I use this, it's because it's got a lot of different features to it. And so if I need to show a feature to you, this little demo's got everything in it, or pretty much everything. Well, not quite everything, but pretty darn close. Matt keeps building stuff, and I don't know about it, and then I go, oh, you can do that, and so then I add it to my tool chest of things that I can show people of what we can do. So let's go back down to the groups. So this one's kind of geared towards financial advisors, but it doesn't matter what business you're in, the principles are all the same. So down here, I've got a group called Christmas. Now, for those of you who are new to ACT or maybe haven't really spent a lot of time in ACT, creating a group, you can create groups, then you can create subgroups, and then you can create subgroups. And you can go, if my memory serves me correctly, it's 10 to 18, somewhere in that realm, where you can drill down and have a cascade of different groups. I personally wouldn't go that deep, but here we have a Christmas one. So to create a new group, you just create a group, give it a name. We're going to put a 00007 here, just for laughs. And we're just going to call this test. And then we're just going to press save so it shows up on the side here. And you can see there's my 007 test there. And so that's how easy it is. Now, if I want to create a subgroup, I can right mouse click over here and go new subgroup. That's the easiest way to do it. And then I can go, let's say 008. And then we'll just save that one. And you'll see that it puts it underneath. That's how easy it is to create a group. Now, when you delete a group and there's contacts associated with that group, doesn't delete the contacts. That's another thing you should be aware of. The other thing you should be aware of, when you create a group, if you go over to access info, you can have groups that are public, private, and limited access. Now, why would you want to make a group private? Well, this group here, when I see these are all public, meaning everybody in my team sees them, and that's fine. There's nothing to hide. They're all contacts in there. However, if I don't want to have that all blocked up with everything under the sun, things that are specific to me that have nothing to do with anybody else, then I can create a private group. Or if there's someone else in my team, like say I'm in the marketing team and there's 3 guys in my marketing team and I just need them to see some of these marketing groups that we've set up for doing blasts out that are going to support the sales, then I would use limited access, and then I can use that to select different users that I want to have access to that group. Again, it doesn't mean that the contacts are private, it just means the group's private. So it's not a privacy thing, it just keeps this down a little bit. So if I make this private, and you'll just see, yeah, and do a refresh here. There, you see, put a little lock on there. And again, it doesn't mean that the contacts are private. It just means that group, the rest of the team doesn't need to see it. It's something to do with marketing, so they don't need to see it. All right. Now, let's get down to Christmas. Now, one of the big things about ACT, and I think one of the best things about ACT, is that any field that you have in ACT can be used to propagate a group. So in here, and again, I use this financial advisor one because look at all the fields I got in here. I got a slew of fields in here. And so whatever I check off or don't check off, those could be determining factors of whether they go into a group or not. And so have as many fields as make sense to you. And just remember, as you add fields to your database, someone has to manage it. Somebody has to key things in or check things off. And so you want to make sure that as you're adding information to ACT, excuse me, it's a little dry in this room. So you want to make sure that as you're creating fields in here, that you're making sure that everybody on your team is okay with that, and you know who's going to be updating them, right? Okay, so that being said, let's go back to our groups. All right, so I'm going to jump down to here before I get into Christmas, just to give you an idea. Here's a group that I set up just for demonstration purposes for this advisor overlay. And this says no critical illness over 55 years old. And so if I go and look at the contacts, there's the contacts that fit that criteria. And then if I go over to add and remove contacts, you've got 2 types. You've got static members and you've got dynamic members. And so dynamic members uses the field. Static, it's just you're going to add that person manually, you're going to remove them manually. Don't recommend that. There is a place and time for those, but in most cases, if you can avoid that and use fields, you're way better off. All right, so we've got critical illness. So is the critical illness, let me just go into edit criteria here. So critical illness, that's a field. If it equals false, meaning it's not checked off, then, and if they are a client, and if they're over 55 years old, and they have an email address, and the email verification, because we use a software called Bright Verify to verify email addresses before we send a campaign out. If it's not invalid, then we're good to go. And so that's the criteria that it was used to build that particular one. So let's get into Christmas. So just to give you some ideas on Christmas, you can have Christmas ones for, I want to send out an email blast. I want to send some people some fancy cards. I want to send some people gifts or maybe deliver gifts. And I want to know who those are. And so you may have as fields to be able to put those people into there, you may have certain fields that allow you to do that. So for an example, let's go back to our contact. In this particular one, you could use something like a drop-down menu, a multi-select drop-down menu, and I've got Christmas email and I've got Christmas gifts. So if this person was going to get both a gift and an email, I could check that off, right? We'll keep the Christmas email off. Or I can just add fields. Now, let me show you really quickly how to add a field. And you can have us do that. I mean, some people have us do all of that. And if you need something added, just let us know. If you feel comfortable in doing this yourself, by all means, please do so. Now, when you go and add a field, if you're in a team environment, you will have to kick everybody off because it actually gets into the database itself. But I'll show you a quick way of getting in. Now, if you're running the advisor, If you're not running the advisor, you'll be able to just go in and do this right away. But if you're running the advisor, you got to go in and it's going to give you a warning because there's a lot of programming and stuff in here. And then we give you the key so that you can open up and get in here. And so the first thing you have to do is you have to define fields. You're going to add a field. There's two parts to this. One is adding a field, and the other one is adding the field to the layout, or the GUI, graphical user interface, for those who don't know what that is. So I'm going to go and add a field, and let this pull it up. And I'm just going to create a new field. And you can add fields to those 4 areas, 5 areas actually. 4 areas when you think about opportunities, because products is part of opportunities. But we're just going to do this under contacts. And we're going to add a new field, create new field, and we're just going to call this Christmas. And by all means, again, this is Casual Friday, so throw questions in if you have them as I'm going through. And when I vert my eyes over to the question area, we will answer them right away. We don't have to wait till the end. All right, so Christmas, and then let's go down here to right at the bottom. It says yes, no. That's a checkbox, and we're just going to go next. And go finish. Then it's going to ask you once it's finished spinning here, and this is running a little slow because I've got a lot of stuff running on this computer right now. So this is going to run slower than most. Okay, so now once this comes up, and I go close, and it's going to ask me, hey, do you want to modify the layout? And I'll say sure. So now it's going to pull up the layout for me, the layout editor. And just let this pull up. Come on. Hopefully you're kicking back. It's Friday afternoon. You're kicking back and you're taking it easy a little bit from your busy week. All right, so here's your different field types. This isn't a training session on how to edit your layout. So I'm just going to show you how to add checkboxes, okay? So yes, no. And I'm just going to, because of real estate, I'm just going to check it right up here. And then it'll pull up a list, and what I want to look for is Christmas. There it is. And I want to include the label. Go add, and then we're done. And I'm just going to move this over to here, and I'm going to line these up just a little bit to highlight both. Format, line, middle. There we go. And I'm just going to throw it there for now. Actually, I'll just move it over here. Oh, and geez, I better bold that. There we go. It takes a little finesse to get used to doing the editor, and you can make mistakes and mess things up. So you want to be careful. If you mess things up, don't press the save button. That's rule number 1. All right. So now it's going to do a refresh. And this is kind of the Reader's Digest version of adding a field. So now that this is up, if I don't want to use a multi-select drop-down menu where I'm choosing multiple things, I can just check off Christmas. And then I can use that field to add them to whatever things that I want. And then I can use a combination of things like Christmas, what segmentation they are. Now, segmentation is typically a financial advisor term, but it's actually a term that can be used in any organization. It's how you classify the types of clients that you have. Now, these would be specifically for customers that you have, and you could have, for an example, AA, AAA customers or clients, and it's how you manage or help those particular clients, right? Or what kind of support, what kind of communication you have, and it can be varying different things that allow it to be a AAA, like they're really good clients, there's good chemistry, you're doing a lot of stuff to support them, where other people, they just want one thing. So in our industry, maybe they just want to buy software, they don't want anything else. We got other ones that want software and then they want support. We got software support and then coaching, consulting, custom programming. So we have different levels, right? And that's for us, and you'd figure that out for you. All right, so now that we've got that checked, we have these different things checked off, I can actually use that field as well. We're not going to use that. We're going to use the communication one that we have in here. But again, you can use stuff like that. So let's go and show you the Christmas groups we have, and then we're going to add some, or add one that just show you how to pull it together. All right, so the e-cards. So what is the criteria we use for that? Okay, email. Make sure they have email. Are they a client? That's as simple as sending out an email blast. I'm sending it to all my clients that have email addresses. That's really what this is saying. And then gifts. All right, let's see what the gifts are. Okay, they're clients. They're the primary contact, and they do have an email address, and they're AAA. All right, so that's the criteria for getting a gift. Now, maybe gifts are, you can use, there's a lot of different ways to do it. There's not one way. Mailing cards fancy. All right, they're either a AA or a AAA. The single A's don't get the fancy Christmas cards this year. So you may send out an email blast with an email thing. You may do cards. You may do combination. Both, doesn't matter. Whatever works for you, whatever you think you need to keep in contact, keep the relationship going with your clients. Prospects. So you could have one with prospects. So this one for vendors. It just, I've got it, this kind of messed up a bit, but you can use the fields for vendors or prospects and have a separate thing that's going to go to vendors and prospects to show your appreciation. All right, let's go, and I'm going to use just the Christmas one here. So I can actually use this one to the label Christmas, as opposed to these subs, to do the same thing. So we're going to go in here, and in this particular scenario, as we're going through this, I'm not going to cover, the manual one, the static membership. I'm just not going to cover that in this one, but I'm going to do the dynamics, just so you get the feel for how to do this. And then we're going to dive into in how to send stuff out. But this is important, because if you don't do this part, well, the rest of it's kind of useless. Who am I sending this out to, or who's my target audience for whatever we're doing? All right, so contact. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to use, now you may use the term ID status. In this database, we relabeled it and called it contact type, I believe. There we are, contact, not contact, contact type. There we are. So it'll be either ID status or contact type, whatever. And we're going to go in here. So you've got different operators, contains data, and you really have to mess around with stuff because there's a lot. I mean, I could spend literally a couple hours in messing around with this, and maybe sometime I should. But for now, we're going to say in there contains, because maybe your ID status is a multi-select, and let's just do client, and we're going to add to list. And once we've added it to list, we can just go preview, and it'll actually show me. So I've got 50 that match, that are clients. So let's go and add. So this, let's just say this is going to be an invitation to a Christmas party. Let's just say that that's what this one is. And so I just want my AAA clients. So we're going to go in here to segmentation. We're going to hunt for the segmentation field. And again, just to give you an idea, and in this one, we're going to use the word contains. Equals to means that's the only thing that would be in that field. But I know that segmentation is can be a multi, well, it's actually, no, it's not a multi-select. That one is just it can be one of the drop-down menus. So we're going to go equals to AAA, add to list. Okay, so let's just go preview, see how many are now from 50 to 9. And that's a decent party. That's a decent party. And it's husbands and wives together. That's probably about 18 people, 19 people, 18 people, something like that. So we're going to leave it like that. Oh, now I'm emailing them out the invitation. So I better make sure they have email addresses. So let's go down to email, and let's just say contains data. Means there's something in that field. It may be, and I've seen this in some databases. Somebody's just looking for a spot to type something in, and they'll grab any field they can. And I hope you're not one of those people that go and put a street address and an email address line in what we call cross-pollinative field with something that doesn't belong there. So if it's got data and it's not an email address, well, you tried. It'll just bounce and it won't go through. And out of that 9, let's see how many have email addresses. Let's go preview. And 8. So there was 1 in that list that didn't have an email address. And so maybe I'd go hunt for that person and say, hey, let's get your email address. All right. So now I've got a list here, my target audience. So that's what we do for target audience. I'm just going to put a plug out here for the, if you want to do something like Bright Verify, we have some tools that will allow you to go out and send a big list, if you've got a big list, and send it out, and it'll come back and say whether they're valid email addresses, whether they're invalid, whether they've bounced. And that helps you when you're doing your marketing campaign where you don't get a lot of stuff coming back and not knowing who they are. You can actually clean your database ahead of time. We have a little tool that we've added here called under Tools called Email Verification, and we use Bright Verify. Now, I'm not going to verify it because it's not set up for this demo database, but you would put in the field name that you wanted updated, and then you'd put the API key from Bright Verify, and then it'll just go out and do it. Otherwise, you have to export it out, take it to Bright Verify, import it in, do your cleanup, then export it out, and then import it back into Act. Way too many steps. So we're quite lazy that way. We try to make it as short as possible, so we programmed that to do it way faster. So if you're interested in that, let us know, and we'd be happy to help you out with that, or give you some direction on that. All right, let's dive into now. Now that I've got my list, how do I want to send this out? So you've got four different things that you can do. Let's just say you were sending gifts out. So we go over to our groups. We say, okay, I want to send some. These are the people that are getting gifts, and I'll do my lookup. So there's my people that are getting gifts. And then what I would do, if I'm not going to print something off other than maybe labels for the gifts, then what I would do is I would go over here to go File, Print, and I would go over to Labels, and then I would pick my Avery label that would match for a big, a fair size setup. It's been so long since I've been in here, I can't remember which one they would be, but you can actually test them out and do like a preview and have a look at it. I'm not going to get into building Avery labels, but if you go and search Avery labels and find the size that you want, pick the one you want. I'm just going to pick something really simple. Let's see here. Let's just pick this one here. And then I'm going to go print. And then I'm just going to go preview first. And I'm going to go current lookup. And there's the labels. So that's a really simple, easy one to pull up. All right, so that's the first one. Second one is doing what we call a mail merge, and there's two types of mail merge. One going to a letter, and I know people that do Christmas letters. They'll actually build a template. I'm not going to build a template today for you, but they build a template and then print it on some fancy paper, some fancy Christmas paper, and then they email that out. Or not email that out, they mail that out. And so let me quickly show you how to do that one. So let's go back over to our groups. And let's go down to, I don't have a fancy, we'll use the mail fancy card. No, we're not going to merge that over here. So these are the people, let's say we're going to look them up. And then I'm going to show you two different types. So first of all, we're going to do a write. Now this presupposes that you've already set up a template, all right? Now, I'm not going to show you how to build a template in this particular one. I'm going to show you how to do an email template, I'll show you how to do an email template really quickly here. But for the mail merge, I'm going to do a mail merge, and let's just say it was a letter, and it's going to go through this little wizard. I'm going to go next, and then we're going to go over here we're going to use the word processor next. And it says, okay, which template that you want to use. So you will already have your Christmas one. I don't know if no, I don't have a Christmas one in here. Let's just see. Let's just pick anything in here. And for those of you who don't know how to create a template, shoot me an email. I'll send you a video on how to build a template. For this purpose. I'm going to show you how to do a really quick Christmas one, but I'm not going to do a one for like a letter or newsletter, that sort of thing. So let's just do let's just use this one here. And then it says current lookup. Yeah, finish, and then it's going to launch Microsoft Word and put this document all together. Now, some of you were using the mail merge for email, and we're going to do that next. Now, there was a bug. Okay, there was a couple of bugs, which they are all fixed as far as Matt has told me, with regards to the mail merge of a mail merge within Act through email. It used to get hung up in the drafts folder and not send them out. That's been fixed, apparently. I personally haven't tested this because I don't use that, but apparently that works. Not now. So you'll see here, here's the documents, each one set for each person, right? And ready to go. And so I could print those off onto my fancy Christmas letterhead. Bobby's your uncle. All right, let's close that off. Nope, we don't need to save it. All right, now I'm going to show you how to do a really quick template using graphics inside of a Word template. So we're going to go in here and go right, and we're going to create a new letter email template from scratch, because this is going to be an email one. All right, here we go. Not now. Okay, so first of all, I need to put in, now I can do a couple of different things. I can put some graphics in. We're not going to talk about layout and getting really fancy dancy here, but I want to show you how you can put graphics in and create this template. So I'm going to put in here, just really quickly, we're going to go over to Act. We're going to go over to your show fields, and I want to find the, let's say, salutation field. You can use last name, but I'm going to use salutation. And I'm going to go add field. And I'm going to go okay. So I'm going to go up here and go hey, and then salutation. And you can format this any way you want. Just wanted to wish you a very Merry. Can't type. Okay, Gary. Chris. Just about to have to start again here. There we are. And then your blah, blah, blah. And then you're going to put your signature down at the bottom. You can type your name in here. Now, adding a graphic. Click on your insert. This is to embed a graphic. Don't drag and drop it. You need to embed it. So you'll want to have downloaded your picture ahead of time. And so I'm going to go to pictures, and I'm going to go on this device because I already downloaded it. Where are you? Pictures. Okay, we're going to go to downloads, and I downloaded a couple of them. So let's try this one first. And so there you go. And now, just so you're aware, with graphics, I can put a text box in here, but you have to choose how you're going to lay this out. So this is going to wrap around. So I want to have, this is having this in front of text. This is having behind text. So I'm going to put that behind text. And then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to insert a blah, blah, blah. Where is it? Text box. Here we are. And we'll just put a text box in here. And then you can type in whatever you want. And you can make this transparent and a bunch of other stuff, and you can take the border off. But I just want you to get the idea of how you can add this in. All right, once you've got this all set up, you're going to press the save button. And we're going to call this Christmas email. Really quick. And then we're going to go more options because it wants to put you in a separate place here. And we're going to go browse. And then this is going to put it in my templates folder. And for some reason it didn't type in the name of this. (2021) Save. Okay, that's done. So now if I want to send this email off, now there's one thing that I want to make sure you don't do. If you're going to use the mail merge to send out a Christmas email out to your clients, do not attach a PDF file and say, oh, see attached, here's my Christmas, whatever. Don't do that. It will end up in the junk folder. 80% of the time, it'll end up in their spam folder or junk folder. So don't attach something that way. That's not the proper way of doing it. There are other ways to do it. I'm not going to cover those in here, but you can do those in the ACT e-marketing or ACT marketing automation. You can do it in there because it doesn't put it as an attachment. The other thing you need to be careful of, let's say you have 400 contacts that you're going to send an email blast out. Do not do the mail merge email, or your email provider will blacklist you, thinking that you're spamming people. Now, if you're using Outlook, Outlook Exchange, any of those sorts of things, you have to be careful when you're using a mail merge and sending out by email. Typically, you don't want to do more than between 50 and 80 at a time. And there's a lot of work there. So that's why I don't do it. I use the ACT marketing automation because it's a lot faster once it's set up, and it does a better job, and I can see who opened it. But let's walk you through this whole process. So here's the people that are going to get the email. We're going to go over here, right, mail merge, go through our wizard again. So this time it's going to be an email. Next, what template are we going to use? Now we're going to go find our Christmas. There it is, Christmas email. Open. Next, we're going to send it to current lookup. Next, and then this is where we can put the subject line in. So we're going to put in here Christmas 2021. Call it the now history-wise, you know what you sent out. You don't need to put subject message. A subject and message, or subject message and attachment. You really don't need to do that. Just subject only. That's really all you need to do. And again, this sets up so you can attach something. Again, if you're sending a blast off, I really wouldn't do that because a lot of times it's different if you're sending one-offs. This won't get grabbed by spam, but if you're sending a bunch out at a time, that can be grabbed as well. But try it, see what happens. And again, you're going to be keeping your numbers limited. Remember those two pieces. All right, omit those who don't have email addresses. Next. And then I'm not doing it because this is a demo database and who knows where these emails are going to end up. But then you just go finish, and then bang, it just shoots them off one at a time, and they're personalized. It'll say, dear whomever, and wish you Merry Christmas, whatever. And each one is personalized. What you don't want to do is this. Click on email. And where's my email? Oh, I didn't load it. Hang on. Hang on. Where did you go? There you are. Let's close this off. What you don't want to do is this. I think I got a couple going on here. All right. There we go. What you don't want to do is highlight these and press email where you're doing a carbon copy, because what this is going to do, and I see a lot of people do this, is going to 2, and they'll either leave it in 2 or they'll say, oh, let's X that out of there. And then we'll add the format options. Why is this not showing up? Oh, I have to set up BCC. Well, let's just say I haven't set that up in here. Let's just say this is BCC. Paste that in there, and you put your subject line in there, and then you go and grab that, you insert that picture, right? You go in here and you go pictures, like you did before. Download, grab that. You know, you're doing all of this stuff. I would never do that. First of all, it's not personalized. So first thing I would do is junk that. If it doesn't have that in there. In subject line, you're not going to. It's going to be a standard subject line. So you know it is what it is. But this is all right, but it's not the best. I really recommend having something a little more personal. All right, I think we've done enough of that one. All right, so now we're going to take a step into the what I would call the next gen of, for those who are older like me, the better way of doing it, right? So what we've covered so far is the old stick in the mud way of doing things. Now we're going to get into ACT marketing automation. This is where I've spent a lot of time and looking at responses and how people respond to and that. Some people are using MailChimp, some people are using Constant Contact, others are using other different kinds of marketing automation. The nice thing about having this inside of ACT is it tracks it inside of ACT, and it tracks it for each individual, and you can see what they've received and what they haven't received. So if I go over here, let's go to Christine Miller for an example here. And I'm going to go to her husband, Todd. And while I'm on Todd's record, if I go over here to, where is it? Campaign results. You can see all the different emails, and these are all test ones, but you can see all the different emails that he's received from me, campaigns that I've sent out, and how many times he's opened them, did he click the link? I can see all of this stuff, and it helps me stay in better communication and contact with my clients. All right, so we're going to go in here and create a Christmas campaign. Let's go into marketing automation. Any questions so far? We're actually running this a lot like a webinar, and I'm trying not to. The next Casual Friday will be more casual, in the sense that we can have more of a conversation going on. No questions. All right. Let's go in and start this. So most of you will have, at least when you renewed last year, what was it? April. ACT introduced what they call ACT Marketing Automation Basic. And anybody who has a subscription of ACT, when they renew their subscription, because I know there's a bunch just renewed, there's a whole slew in December that are renewing. When you renew, you get the basic marketing automation. If you've got the purchased one already, or if you had, what was it called, Growth Suite, you already have the next level up, which is way better than the basic. The basic's still good, don't get me wrong. It's better than nothing. But that next level is good. If you've got, if you had the Growth Suite, because I got a lot of people on Growth Suite, and that's why December's really crazy, because they had a big deal going on. And then once you're locked in, that what you have now with Growth Suite it's just about $1,000 ticket annually, and you got that as part of that promotion. Others have had to buy it because they weren't part of that or didn't qualify for that promotion. And then we have others that are at different levels, depending upon what they want to do. And you can do some pretty cool stuff in here. I'm going to be doing in the new year. I was going to do it this fall, and we just didn't have time. But in the new year, I'm actually going to put a course on all the ins and outs of doing serious marketing automation, and all the intricacies that you can do and how you can really up your game. That'll be in the new year. I haven't got a firm date yet, but that one will be a course that you can take, a paid course. It'll be reasonably priced. It's just something that it's going to take some time to show, because there's lots of moving parts in here, and some strategies on being proficient in doing this. And I've known people who have hired me one-on-one to help them, and it's really cool to see how their client base has reacted to it and how they've brought in new clients because of how their strategy works. Anyways, won't get into that. So now you can create a template, and typically the template, and I shouldn't say typically, a template is a structure that you start from, okay? And then a campaign is going to be your final result that you're going to send out. Some people will create a template in the email templates section. Like I have one for, it's called my Outlook template. It looks like Outlook. It looks like an Outlook email going out. And so when I want to send a blast out and I want it to look more look more like an Outlook email, I'll use that as a template. So I'll create a campaign, and then I'll pull in that template, and then I'll tweak it a little bit, and then I'll send it out. So templates are frameworks only. It's like the template that you use in Act as a template to fill in information to send out to somebody else. Is the same thing. So the word says it all. It's a template. It's not what not your final result. Campaigns are your final result. So when you're doing a Christmas one, you could start with a campaign and then build it from scratch. Or what I do is I go from a template I had last year, and I create a template, and then I pull in that template, and then I modify the template, maybe colors, graphics, but the structure is all ready to go. And so you have a choice on how you want to do this. I'm going to start with a template. And by the way, all those who wish can have a copy of one of my templates that I have here. Let me just go into templates, and I'll show you what it looks like. It's contains. All right, so this is the template that I would send you, and I'll show you the one that I'm going to be using, but I'll modify it. So let's just edit this template. Now this is a fancy dancy one. It took me a little while to do this, and some graphic finessing to make this work. But you'll see these little hooks here, and this was a little fun to try to put all together. But if you would like a copy of this template, you can actually put it in the comments, or you can shoot me an email, whatever works for you, and then you can go in here and modify that. So we're going to use this template as a starting point, and I'll show you what it is to have a basic campaign and how that all works. But we're going to use this template as a starting point. You can come up with whatever you want and manipulate it however you want. I'm going to show you the basics in here, and then we can kind of go from there. Any questions so far? Is anybody out there? Jared, tell me you're still there. Okay. I'm sure you guys are busy watching, maybe taking a cup of coffee. All right, let's dive back in here. All right, so we're going to create a campaign. Jared's probably on the phone. Yeah, okay, thanks, Jared. There's a bit of a latency, by the way, too. For me working here and getting pinged back, there is a latency. All right, so let's go in and we're going to create a campaign. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. All right. So we're going to create a campaign. So we're going to close this off. Return. All right. So this is going to be our Christmas campaign. We're going to do it from scratch. All right. So we're going to go over here to campaigns. We're going to go new campaign. You can copy a campaign. I'm just going to create a new one. And there's a lot of features. You got dashboards, calendar. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff in here we don't have time for. All right. So when I use this, I'm going to pull up all templates. So these are all, like, you can do a blank template, prospect. I'm going to start with a blank, but this is how I would pull up my Christmas template. Now, I don't have it set up as a template in here yet. And there's a little thing that you can do when you create a template. You can check it off and say, hey, make this a template, and it will show up in your templates folder. Not all templates that you create you want in your template folder, so I haven't set that up that way. But you could go into templates if you make it a template, and you could and then grab your Christmas template, pull it in, and away you go. I'm going to do it a little bit different. I'm going to start with a blank template or blank campaign, and then I'm going to give it a campaign name. We're going to go call this Christmas 2021. So I can put some tags in here, Christmas 2021, whatever you want in there. I can put it into a folder. So we're not going to get into folders, but I can create folders over on the left-hand side. That'll be in that training thing that I do in the new year, that course that I'm going to be putting on. You'll be able to choose a folder and put that in a folder. I'm just going to leave it in campaigns for now. I'm going to go continue. Now, when it says select list, it's asking you to select a group. So you'll want to go in here and let's say I want to send it to, let's go find Christmas. Now, this doesn't do the tree view, okay? Which isn't it's a pain. I've asked them to see if they could do a tree view, so it doesn't. So whatever you call that, like we've got Christmas, but I don't know what the sub was for that. And so we're going to just go clients, new clients. No, what was that called? Yeah, that's the one. Clients email list. And then you can have it come from the default name is yourself. Coming from. Now, you can put something else in here. You could put anything with @corelogix. So if I've got info. Now, just a little bit of information for you. We're again, this is a live stream, Casual Friday. I said on an hour, it could be a little bit over. Well, it's going to be a little bit over an hour. So if you have to bolt at the top of the hour, go ahead. We're still going on and recording. But again, we're not going to be really stringent in here. I just want to make sure I'm giving you some good information. So one of the things when you're doing a default from address, don't do something like info or admin or marketing. Come up with somebody's name if you can, or something that's different, because info, for an example, is a good one that gets grabbed by spam. It'll get info and off into spam. So you want to be careful on what you use. There are some, I don't know if I still have the list, but there was a list of don'ts when it comes to certain things when you're sending email campaigns out. So I'm going to just leave this with Gary. I have 2 domains. I've got robillard.net and corelogix.ca. I can send from 2. It's an extra cost to send it from 2. So if you have a company that you have 2 different things that you want to do from, you have a choice. I think it costs me $600 annually to add this other domain, but then I can send stuff out from that domain. And then reply to, I can have this reply to, say, any replies I want to go to Jared. Sorry, Jared. So any replies coming are going to go back to Jared. Jared's going to deal with it. He'll organize it. He'll set it up, manage whatever comes back. All right. So once we got that set, then I go create. And enter. There it is right there. And then all I have to do is click on the little pencil. And this is what it looks like. We have a start and we have an end, and this is the email that's going out. You can get a lot more sophisticated in here. And again, we'll be covering that in the new year, but you can have decision trees, you can have all sorts of stuff. So in here, what I'm going to do is we're going to edit the email. And this is the standard email that comes out of the box when you're doing a basic one. You got a place here to put a header, a picture, very important information. You can have all of this information. Let me just show you how this works. So if I want to put, these are actual roles, and then you've got content in here. So I could just blow that away. And in each one of these, you have information in the center, and then you have the whole column width. And so you can blow a bunch of the stuff away if you want and start from scratch. You can actually have a blank one that has nothing in it, a template if you want. But we'll just leave it like that for now. And so you have roles and then you have content. So the roles are how it's formatted in here. And first thing you want to change is on the settings, change it from 500 pixels to 600 pixels. You can go more than 600 pixels. You can go up to 9, but that's a little hard if your target audience are mainly people on mobile phones. If they're on mobile phones, you want it around 610. You want to be around there. I'll do 600. And that gives it a good format for a mobile phone. If most of your clients are not on phone, you can up that up, and I've done that and it works fine. But it gives you a little bit more real estate when you do it that way. And then you have some settings here. Again, I'm not going to go into big detail here. So to drag the roles, you've got different picture or different ways of formatting this. And all you do is just drag it over. So I want to put a header up there. I've got a header I can put up at the top there. The color's not going to match, but that's okay. So this is where you'd go and modify. I'm just going to pull in a template. And again, you can start from scratch and it just delete stuff and modify stuff. And again, I'm not spending a lot of time in here doing the format training. I'm just going to show you how to send this off. So right now, I'm going to go up here to Actions, and I'm going to import one of my templates. Now you can import a regular template, and I think you can just type in blank. Yeah, blank one. And I'll just blank sales, blank. Probably this. For those of you who weren't live, we ran into a snag loading the template up so we could finish off this part of the live stream where we're actually going to show you how to do an email blast out. And we ran into a snag where it just froze up. Well, I thought it was a bandwidth thing at the time because I was looking at my frame rate and it was dropping a little bit here and there. So there was a lot of stuff going on, but that wasn't the problem. What it was I was trying to load a template, which was a text-based template, into an HTML infrastructure, and it just hung there. And I didn't realize that at the time. And so I thought that it was a bandwidth problem, but it wasn't. So now that we know exactly what it was, you want to make sure that you don't use the other template that we talked about in here. So if I go in here to import templates, you don't want to use this one. This was the one that I went to pull in, and this is a text-based one. And trying to pull a text base into an HTML format, and no want to work. So this is the one that you wanted to use. So this would be a drag and drop basic one where you can start, or what we call a blank one. That's what we were loading up there. And then all we have to do from here is drag your roles in, put your columns in, and then put in your different kinds of data that you want in there, like text or buttons or dividers or video or whatever you want. You drag and drop in there. All right, so I'm going to just use my template. So instead of using import templates, and I should mention, don't use this one. This one is not the one that you want to use. You actually want, this one here is a text one. It's not an HTML. You want to use the blank, just this blank one that has the lines. If you ever want to do pull in a blank template, just use that one. Don't use this one, or the landing page one. The landing page is a different one to use as well. All right, so I'm going to go return back here, and we're going to import my template. And we're going to click on here. We're going to go right down to the bottom where it's got ZZZ, and this is my Christmas template. And we're going to import that in. All right. So here's my template. Again, this is that custom one I showed you right at the beginning. And in here, you can just go in and edit any of this information in here. You can just highlight that, delete it, change it. So I'm going to go in here and put Merry Christmas. Whatever you want. Got 2 R's in there. Anything you want. So in the editor here, you've got the color. And it just shows black and white and then blank, which is remove color. And then you've got the palette. And then you can go in and from the palette, choose whatever you want. Choose on the right-hand side, where you want to be. And then from here, move around to the different colors. Okay. So that's how you would do that. And again, anything you want to remove in here, just hover over it. And you can see this one here is put a comment beside it. That's more for the higher end version of the automation that I've used. You can delete it or you can duplicate it. So duplicate it would look like that, and delete it would look like that. I also have lines in here. You can see these dividers. That's what, if we go over to content, that's what these dividers are, these little green lines here. So you can go and delete those, move them, copy them, whatever you want. And then this is a video, so if I take this video out and delete that out, you can see it collapses. But if I want to put a video in there, my favorite YouTube video, let's pop that right there. And then what I would do is just go find my YouTube video that I wanted. So let's just, let me show you how that works. So I always like to throw a YouTube video in there, Christmas one. YouTube.com. All right, once we get into here, let's just type in Christmas. All right, so that's some ads, traditional Christmas mix. Maybe you want to send that. Whatever you want to send. Let's see what this is. Let's just take this and we'll just copy the URL. Copy the URL, and then once you're in here, right up there, paste the URL in, and it will auto-populate that in there. See how quick and easy that is? So whatever the thumbnail is on that site, that's what's going to pull in. And then where your logo is, you can just delete that, or if it's a graphic, you can just go into content, and let's say I want to pull in like a GIF, a Jiffy file. You could pull in there an animated one if you wanted, or if it's a logo, then you're going to want to pull in an image and just drag that in there, and then go browse for the image. So in my case, I'll go in. I've got folders, so I'm just going to go in here, CLX. And let's use this one here. And okay, that's a huge logo. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn off the auto and zoom it down a little bit. I can leave it centered. I can make it left justified, right justified, whatever I want. We'll leave it centered. So that's how you would add it in. If you need some spacing between whatever text you had up at the top, you've got stuff like padding. So I'm just going to go more options, and I'm going to put top padding. I'm going to add some padding in there, and you can see how that moves it down. I want a little bit of padding from the bottom. Add some padding there. Left and right padding if I want to do that. So again, this isn't a training on how to use the whole thing. This is just trying to get it up and going for you. This will automatically fill, so you don't have to worry about anything there other than whatever you've got for an unsubscribe. If you're using just the standard unsubscribe, that's another thing we're going to cover in that course that I'll be putting on in the new year. Is, you know, how do we add the modify the subscription list instead of just unsubscribing from all. If you want to change the picture, by all means go and change the picture. You can just go in here and change image. And when you go to change image, you can go down here, search free photos, and this will take you to, and I'm just going to put in here Christmas. And you can add other stuff, like maybe something like this. Import that in there. You got all sorts of goodies that you can go and dress this up and make it look great. So I'm going to import that in. Now I want to crop this a little bit. It's just a little bit too much in the way of, let's just do this. There we are. So you see it was at 95 and we had a border around there, so I want it to go blend right in. But what I can do is add more effects. So I can go in here and take that picture, and then I can do a few things, like for an example, crop it. Maybe I want to just bring that up a little bit, and I'll go save. And then maybe, just maybe, maybe I should put Merry Christmas up there. So let's go back into added effects, and I'm going to throw, let's just throw some text in here. And I definitely don't want Times Roman. I want something a little bit fancier. How about Pacifico? And we're gonna add text. Oh, it went back to, let's highlight this, change it to Pacifico, And we'll put in here, Merry. Now I found, oh, come on. Oh, come on. There we are. Good. Sorry about that. Merry. There we are. And so we'll bring that up. Let's make it bigger. I find that the text in here, it's all right. I personally like to use other editors for doing text and stuff like that, or making my own. I don't like using the editor in here. It's all right though. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. And if that's all you've got, by all means use that. So what about Merry Christmas like that? That looks pretty decent, hey? And once you've got it the way you want, actually we could do maybe a green. You can go into the color wheel and get fancy with it. We're just going to leave it red. And we're going to go save. See, I could spend hours going through stuff like this. So there you go. We've got our little Christmas top part. We've changed text. We've added in all of our different things that we want, all our content. Once you're happy, then what you're going to do is you're going to send a test to yourself. So next step is to send a test to yourself. I'm going to send this to training at corelogix. I did that wrong. corelogix.ca. And send test. And then we're going to go over here. And if everything works as it should, we should get an email. There it is. And now you notice that mine auto filled in here because what I did, is I have mine saved to go to whitelist, so they fill in instead. You know how you had to right mouse click and go, add pictures, and so there it is. For some reason, it's not bringing in the YouTube thing. Maybe because it's just a test. That could be. Let's just click on the. Anyways, that will work. I just must be just because it's a test. All right, so I'm going to delete that so I know it comes in. So once you're happy with it, once you've done your test, you're happy with the colors, you're happy with everything, the way it works, then what you would do is the next step is once you've got your template all set up, then you're going to go over here to actions and you're going to go to properties. This is where you're going to add in a few pieces of information, like what's the name of this? So this would be Christmas 2021 email, and then subject line. Now I'm just going to go update here because I'm going to go steal something here. I'm going to take this. Sorry. Let me copy this. Copy that. And I'm going to go back into here and I'm going to go into where was that? Properties, sorry. And then I'm going to go in there and go, hey, just wanted to wish you a very Merry Christmas. All right, so I'm going to press OK. So now you can see up here, this is the name of the email going out. And then the subject line is going to be, hey, fill in the blank. It's going to pay, if it's sending to me, it's going to go, hey, Gary, just wanted to wish you a very Merry Christmas. And then they will open it. Your subject line, you should make sure your subject line is somewhat inviting. It's not obscure or what have you. So make it personal. Make it as personal as you can. You'll have higher open rates the more personal you can make it. And once you've got that done, and this is a really important thing, make sure you go into properties and you put your subject line and the name of the email you're going out, because this is what's going to track when you send out the email. That's what's going to track inside of ACT and say, okay, this was the email that went out, and this is what it was that went out. So once you're happy with everything, you can press save. and we're happy with what we've done. You can do another test if you wish, just to make sure that it's doing everything you want. Let's just check on here, make sure we've got solid ground. Don't think there's anything else on there. Oh, you can see what this looks like on a mobile device too. Or hide on the mobile device, sorry. But we don't want it hidden on anything. This just hides whatever graphic, and I won't get into that, so don't press this. If you want to view what it looks like, go over here to Actions and go Preview, and you'll see what that looks like. And if you want to see what it looks like on mobile, that's what it would look like on a mobile. And that's where I say the 600 really works really well for that. It shows up very good. And then once you're finished that, just go Return. And then the last step is, once you've got your template in there, you've got your subject line, who you're sending to, all of that good stuff, just make sure you don't miss anything. Then you're going to go down to Activate. And you're going to go Activate Campaign, and it's going to start right as soon as you do it. Now, that's if you've got it to send out right away. Let's just cancel this. The other thing you can do is, instead of instant release, what you can do is just click on the arrow, and you can change it from timed interval to specific date and time. So if you want this to go at a specific date and time, let's say you're doing this on the weekend. You got it all done up, but you don't want it to send it out. I don't recommend sending it out on Monday. What I do recommend sending out Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays are excellent days, sometime around 10:30. That's a good spot. If you were sending to individuals, like you're more of a B2C or business to customer, then you may want to do it on a Saturday morning at about 10:30. Test it. You need to test to see which one works best. But for business to business, B2B, you want to do it at a specific date and time, and it's usually between Tuesday and Thursday, somewhere in there, around 10:30. Works really good. So I'm just going to leave it at the saved interval. It's going to do an instant release. And so again, the last one, you're going to go Activate. And what you're looking for down here on the left-hand side is these little checkboxes. If everything's green, that means everything looks good as far as it's concerned. You press Activate, Bob's your uncle, everything is shot out, and then you can start tracking it. Now, the tracking takes a little time to propagate back into Act. Give it a few hours. It's not like bang, it sends it out and all of a sudden it starts updating stuff. It does take a little bit of time before it actually shows up and starts propagating into Act. And what you can do is you can go back to the campaign. So later on, you come back to the campaign, you go to your campaigns, you open up your Christmas campaign, and you've got a couple of different things. This isn't going to show anything yet because we haven't sent it off, but I can just go to the campaign dashboard, and it's not going to show any details at this point because we don't have anything in there. We haven't sent it yet, but it's going to show a bunch of details. And then you can also drill down to the actual email itself, and it will actually show a little different information. And when you get into the email itself, you can go into, I drilled down too far. Let's go back. That's what I wanted to do. It just didn't show up. Instead of choosing email, you can actually choose, view email statistics. And then that will show a different set of information that comes through. It's similar, but it's different. Just remember, like once it's gone active, the default won't be to edit here. Like right now, the default is edit. Once it's been activated, the default will be view email statistics. So hopefully this has been helpful. We're going to be doing the Casual Friday every Friday. There will be a few times we'll miss in December. And if we do decide that we'll miss a Friday, we'll let you know. But if you subscribe and click the notification button, you'll get notified when we're going to have a live event. And we'd sure love to have you join us. We're going to be doing Q&A where you can ask any act question you want, or maybe even we can talk about some business strategies or different strategies, like what's an acquisition strategy, what's a retention strategy, how do we implement that? We can get creative in what we want to talk about. But send some information our way and let us know what you'd like to talk about. You can put it in the comments down at the bottom here, or you can shoot me an email, Gary@corelogix.ca. And we'd love to have you in on Friday. It's going to be kind of a casual thing. We are going to be doing some interviews, and we've got some people lined up to have a conversation about business and different formats of information that may be useful to you. So hopefully this has been helpful. We'll talk to you on the next one. Bye for now.